In the interest of Aurelio, Medaheen, we are here for our final today.
Jeff Hill on behalf of Lorenzo Hernandez. Sorry, Judge, hang on. My apologies. Judge, I have never had any contact with Mr. Hernandez throughout the pendency of this case, so I guess I announce ready, but with that caveat.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of Aurelio.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Honor. Ms. Lawrence, would you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Abigail Lawrence.
And Ms. Lawrence, up until recently, you were working for St. Francis, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And while you were employed by St. Francis, you were the permanency specialist on the case involving the child, Aurelio Medin, correct?
Yes.
When you first got the case, what was your first steps in working the case?
First steps in working the case are reaching out to the parents and then working with them to compile a family plan of service.
And did you complete family plans of service for both parents?
Yes.
And can you tell me the names of both parents?
The mother is Luz Medeline and the father is Lorenzo Hernandez.
And during the pendency of our case, the father was adjudicated. Lorenzo Hernandez was adjudicated as the father. Is that correct?
Yes.
In your honor, I just asked the court to take note that we adjudicated Mr. Hernandez at his request on 6/25 of 2024.
All right, any objection, counsel?
No objection.
All right, then I'll take judicial notice of the fact that the court has already adjudicated Mr. Hernandez as the father of the child Aurelio Medaheen and had previously established the parent-child relationship between them.
Thank you, Honor. Ms. Lawrence, where are the children placed right now?
Aurelio is placed with his mother in Borger.
Okay. And how's he doing?
He's doing amazing.
How is mom doing?
And she's doing amazing as well.
Okay. And they've been reunited in a monitored return, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And how long has he been placed back with her?
He has been placed back with her since December 30th, 2024.
So plenty of time for St. Francis to have monitored that, make sure everything was good and everything is going well.
Yes.
Okay. As far as dad, what kind of contact have you had with him?
Throughout the life of the case, it has been very touch and go with contact. He was living in Mexico throughout the beginning of the case up until June of last year, and then he did come to Amarillo. I had contact with him between the months of June till the end of July when he was arrested. I was able to have contact with him while he was incarcerated. However, once he was released, October of last year, I've had no contact with him again.
Okay, so do you have any idea of where he went after that?
No, I do not.
Okay. You stated earlier that one thing you do is you generate family plans of service. Did you do that in this case?
Yes.
Do you have the exhibits I sent out?
Yes.
Can you tell me what exhibit number 1 is? Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do. That is the family plan of service that was filed on behalf of Lorenzo Hernandez.
Okay. Is this an accurate copy of what you filed?
Yes.
Has it been changed in any sort of way?
No, it has not.
Were the family plans of service made in order of the court?
Yes, they were.
And is that generally done at the status hearings?
Yes.
And that was done in this case?
Yes, sir.
What type of services was Dad asked to do?
Dad was asked to keep in contact and comply with his family plan of service. He was asked to show proof of housing and employment, comply with drug screens, complete an OSAR, complete 6 sessions of individual counseling, a psychosocial, and parenting classes.
Throughout the life of this case, did Dad work any of his services?
No, he did not.
Okay. Did he keep in contact with you?
No, he did not.
Did he participate in random drug screens?
He participated in 1 random drug screen.
Did he do any of his, oh, sorry.
No, he did not.
Did he do any of his counseling?
No.
Did he do any parenting classes?
No, he did not.
Did he have any visits with the child?
No, he did not.
So during the course of this case, Dad did not comply with any part of his family plan of service.
Correct.
Your Honor, I would ask to admit exhibit number 1 is a file marked copy of the family plan of service that Ms. Lawrence testified to.
Any objection?
No objection.
Petitioner's Exhibit 1 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Lawrence, you'd stated that he was incarcerated at one time. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And do you know what he was incarcerated for?
Yes, he was arrested for possession of a controlled substance and aggravated assault.
And then you said he was released. Do you know what the outcome was for that? You ever talked to him about it?
No, I never talked to him about it.
Okay. Your Honor, I would ask to admit exhibits, and I'll just do these in a group. 2, 3, and 4, and 5, 6, and 7. They are certified copies of the indictments, the order deferring adjudications, and the motion to proceed that have been filed on the cases involving Mr. Hernandez.
All right, any objection?
Objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Petitioner's Exhibits 2, 3, and 4, and Exhibits 5, 6, and 7 will be admitted. Y'all give me just a second. I've got to log into a program and it's going to have to call my phone. So just give me a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry about that. It always wants you to log in at, an inconvenient time. Okay. You can go ahead. Sorry about that.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Ms. Lawrence, you stated since Dad pled on these cases and got out of jail, you have not seen him or had any contact with him.
Correct.
And you have no knowledge or any guess of where he is at this point?
There is a suspicion. Luz had told me that she has contact with one of his cousins and they believe that he is somewhere in Chicago potentially.
Okay. And according to the exhibits we just admitted, he is on deferred adjudication, correct?
Yes.
And they have since filed motion to revoke after he got out and was placed on deferred.
Yes.
And you stated that he had drug screened for you once?
Correct.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask to admit exhibit number 8. It is a affidavit of business records as to the drug screen for Mr. Hernandez.
Any objection?
Your Honor.
No objection.
Okay. Petitioner's Exhibit 8 will be admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Lawrence, when was your last contact with Mom?
Let me get the date. It would have been the first week in April.
And at the time you left working for St. Francis, the goal was to leave the children with Mom and name Mom as sole managing. Is that correct?
Yes.
And to request that Dad be named a possessory and no contact with the children and pay child support and medical support. Is that what you were looking at when you went off of the case?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Michelson?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, congratulations on your new adventure, Abigail.
Thank
Hope it's a
you.
good one. You testified earlier that Luz and Aurelio were doing amazing. How long has he been in her care now?
Since December, so
Okay.
just about, yeah.
Okay. And is she completed with all of her services?
Yes, she is.
Okay. And you meet with her once a month?
It was bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. Okay. So you're happy with her current progress?
Absolutely. She really got what she needed to done, and last week she got her driver's license, so she's now approved to transport Aurelio when she can. So she did really great.
And just for my own verification, her phone number, does it end in 36? Because that's where I sent the link.
I don't have my work phone anymore to tell you for sure.
Okay.
Jordan might be able to let you know that.
Okay. All right. I just thought I'd check. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hill?
Judge, I have no questions.
All right, Ms. Zavala?
Miss Lawrence, Luz is living with family members, is that correct?
Yes,
And she's got a good support system in place now.
absolutely.
Okay. I pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Trout, anything further from this witness?
Nothing further from Ms. Lawrence, Your Honor.
Okay, anybody else have anything further from Ms. Lawrence before I cut her loose?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing further.
All right, Ms. Lawrence, thank you so very much. Appreciate your time and your cooperation in testifying today. So you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Abby.
Bye.
All right, you can call your next witness.
Court call Jordan Alford, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Alford, if you will raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Okay. Very
And
good.
Your Honor, before I start questions with Mr. Alford, I noticed that we don't, one of the supervisors for St. Francis, I'm not seeing. I don't know if Kayla Martinez or Aaron Sessions is in the waiting room.
I do not have anybody else in the waiting room.
Okay, all right. Ms. Alford, would you state your name for the record, please?
Jordan Alford.
And Ms. Alford, you are now the permanency specialist on this case, is that correct?
Yes.
And you took over the case this past week?
Yes.
Okay. Have you had time to review the file?
Yes.
Okay, and did you staff with Ms. Lawrence before you took over the case?
Yes.
Okay. Have you been able to meet with Mom?
I have not yet.
Okay. But from your understanding and reviewing of the report and staffings, Mom is doing great.
Yes.
Okay. And the request today, we're not asking for any termination on any parents today. Is that correct?
Correct.
Today, you're requesting that the department be dismissed from the case,
Yes.
that Mom, Luz Medeline, be awarded as sole managing conservator of the child,
Yes.
and that the father, Lorenzo Hernandez, be named a possessory
Yes.
with no contact,
Yes.
and to pay child support and medical support, and child support to be based on minimum wage.
Yes.
And do you believe that's in the best interest of the child at this time?
I do.
And as far as the request for the no contact, is that based upon Dad's failed to work services?
Yes.
He's had no, and Ms. Lawrence testified he had no contact with the child during her casework.
Correct.
And Dad's criminal records that were admitted that he is currently on probation with a revocation filed.
Yes.
And do you believe that based upon his conduct and lack of participation in this case, the no contact order would be justified for him?
Yes.
Have y'all had this conversation? Was this conversation had with mom?
Yes.
And from your understanding, mom is okay with that?
Yes.
And do you believe that that is these requests are in the best interest of the child?
I do.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Michelson?
Thank you, Your Honor. You might have heard my previous question. Just for my own confirmation, is Luz's phone number ending in 36?
That is what our system has. Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Hill?
No questions, ma'am.
Okay, and Ms. Zavala?
No questions.
All right. Anything further of this witness, Mr. Trout?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, does the department rest?
Department rest at this time, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Michelson, do you have anything to present today?
No witnesses, Your Honor. We rest.
Okay, Mr. Hill?
Judge, no witnesses, but I do want to correct what I said when I announced ready. I said I'd never had any contact with Mr. Hernandez, and that what I was referring to is out of court contact. He was at that hearing back in June 25th, but other than that, have had no contact with him. But anyway, I'll rest at this point.
Okay, all right. Duly noted. All right, Ms. Zavala?
No witnesses, I rest.
All right, Ms. Zavala, do you have a recommendation to make?
I do, Your Honor. I went out on Friday to the home in Borger and visited with Luz and Aurelio. He is a mass of curls and he moves a mile a minute. He's all boy. He's very comfortable in the home. The home's very appropriate. Luz seems to be doing great. I have no concerns at this point. I did discuss with her what was being proposed, and she was in agreement. I do believe that that it's in Aurelio's best interest for Luz to be named sole managing conservator with father as possessory conservator.
All right, and do you have any recommendation regarding the request for no contact with the child?
At this point, I believe it's appropriate. The issues that brought him into care were drugs. With the drug screens that were admitted and the criminal history, Dad still appears to be struggling with those issues and hasn't cooperated with any services. So I do believe that that's appropriate at this time.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, then, Mr. Michelson, if you do speak with your client, tell her I said great work and congratulations. I do find it is in the best interest of the child, Aurelio Medellin, to name the mother, Luz Medeline, as the sole managing conservator of the child. I'll name Lorenzo Hernandez as a possessory conservator of the child. And I will find that it is in the best interest of the child to not render any specific possession order and to further enter a no contact order between the father and the child. And that's, based on father's lack of participation in this case, failure to work services, his ongoing criminal history and problems that he's got, and the positive drug screen. I think all of those underlying reasons would support that it's in the best interest that there not be any possession by the father at this time. he's obviously always entitled to come back and ask to modify that. I'm going to order him to pay child support based on minimum wage for one child. Do we know if he has any other children?
I have not heard of any other, Your Honor. That's the only one I know.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to also order $50 a month in medical support. And all of that to begin on May 1st of 2025. All right, then, I will dismiss the department and all court-appointed attorneys from the case at this time. And I'll sign an order when you all get it to me.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll convey your congratulations and may I be dismissed.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Thank
Thank
y'all.
you.
In the interest of Adriel, Ruiz, we're here today for a review hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We are live streaming, and Ms. Taylor is making our record this morning. Right. Mr. Perales is present to interpret for the father, Mr. Ruiz, who is present with his attorney, Mr. Morales. Ms. Archer is present. Ms. Archer, I don't see your client, Alyssa Browning. Were you expecting her this morning?
No, probably not, Judge. She gave me permission to sign the paperwork, so.
Okay, very good. All right, and Ms. Zavala is present on behalf of the child, and Mr. Trout's present on behalf of the Department of Family and Protective Services. I believe his worker or permanency specialist today is Jennifer Campos, who is present. Mrs. Martinez, Keila Martinez is supervisor today. She's also present. Okay, then Ms. Campos, if you want to give us an update, that would be great. As great as Mr. Perales is, I'm just going to always remind people, just take it a little bit slower.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Adriel is doing really well. He's growing. He's crawling now. He's doing all the things. He did have a swallow study done because he's always really congested. And the swallow study came back normal, but they are running some more tests to kind of see what's causing him to be congested. But other than that, he's doing amazing. I've started unsupervised visits with Marco. He's had his first one. That went really well. And he'll have his second one tomorrow. We're just kind of slow going at this moment, so that way Marco can get used to Adriel being around and being in the home. I have no concerns there at all. I do speak with Alicia from time to time. I have sent her videos of Adriel. I have sent her pictures of Adriel when she's asked. But that's really all the contact we have. Basically, it's just kind of really short and sweet. I want her to know what's going on with her son when she asks. So I just do, when she asks for them, and when I get them from placement, I send them to her. Other than that, I don't really have anything else.
Ms. Campos, what is the plan going forward as far as Dad?
So we are starting these unsupervised visits. We'll do probably a month of unsupervised visits, maybe a little longer. And then we'll do some overnight visits on the weekend. I know he does work, and I know that he will have to rearrange his schedule. I know that they are busy on the weekend, but I feel like that's a better time. But if we can't work it out on the weekend, we'll just figure it out during the week. And then we'll kind of slowly go into reunification with him.
Okay. Have y'all, I know you have the step up to that. Have y'all started working on what the kind of when and what the reunification plan is going to be?
No, I just kind of started with the unsupervised visits right now. And then once, I know that they're going well. But once I know that, Marco feels comfortable and stuff like that, I'll move into the overnights with him.
And you've had this conversation with Dad and explained to him how this will proceed.
Yes, sir.
Seem okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I've passed the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Archer?
Ms. Campos, is there any kind of barrier to mom doing services while she's in Colorado?
There are barriers, just because we do not have any contracts with anybody in Colorado, and those are very hard to get. I do know that she's still attending counseling in Colorado, but I don't have any proof. She did say that she was working, but I don't have any proof of that either. I know that she's staying with her parents. But it is harder to get services, done in Colorado just because she's not consistent either. She's moved back to Texas and then she moved back to Colorado and she's kind of back in between. So
Has mom expressed an interest in doing services, or is she told you she's not?
I know that she has completed some services. She said that she feels stuck. She doesn't feel like she's doing what's in the best interest of Adriel right now. And she's having a hard time with it. I have let her vent to me. And, just to kind of give her a shoulder or somebody to talk to. But she hasn't really initiated anything to complete any other services.
Thank you so much. I'll pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Morales.
I don't believe I have any questions at the moment, Judge. I'll pass.
All right. Mr. Morales, anything else or Ms. Archer, anything else to add today?
Nothing to add, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Morales? Anything?
No, other than Mr. Ruiz. I mean, he's had a few, I guess, a little bit of setbacks and kind of slower starts than I'd like, but I mean, at this point, he's really hoping to get a reunification going as soon as possible. But I know we have some issues with the child bonding and stuff like that, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to happen unless we move forward with an effort in that regard.
Okay, Ms. Taylor, can you hear him? Guys, you're real
faint, but I got it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. She says she got it though. All right then, Ms. Zavala.
Ms. Campos, is Mr. Ruiz doing any kind of basic parenting for the age of the child, a parenting course?
He did do parenting classes with Fatherhood Fire, and the classes that he took pertain to Adriel's age range, and he completed those.
Great. Thank you. Those are all the questions that I have.
Ms. Zavala, you have a recommendation today?
Yes, Your Honor. Adriel is doing very well at placement. Placement spoke very highly about Dad and visits with Dad. They did mention that there are just some basic things that maybe he could use some help with. I think at one visit, formula was changed. At one visit, the straps weren't tightened on the car seat, but placement says there's lots of love there and that dad seems to be on board with doing whatever he needs to get him back. They've offered up, meeting with him about Adriel's schedule, anything that would help him in that transition. So I think we're headed in the right direction with Dad. And meanwhile, Adriel's doing really well where he is.
Okay, great.
And Judge, I did speak with placement this morning, and she is willing to show Marco how to fix the straps in the car seat so that way they are tight and snug, to make sure that he is safe just in case anything were to happen. So
That'd be wonderful. Okay, then today, I'm going to continue the department as temporary manager conservator and continue the child's current placement. I'd find that there would be a continuing danger to return the child to the mother at this time, and that we are working actively towards reunification with the father. I would find that Mr. Ruiz is in compliance with his service plan, and find that mother is in partial compliance. It's always more difficult when we've got a parent out of state, but I know she has attempted some things. So we will be back for our final in this case on July 8th, and that will be on a 9 o'clock docket. And I hope that this reunification can, ramp up pretty quickly so that we've got time to monitor and make sure everything's going well. Okay, so I'll see everybody back then July 8th. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
Many
y'all.
thanks. Appreciate y'all. This time I'll call cause number 99724 in the interest of Jordan Lundgren. We're here today on our status hearing. In this case, we are conducting this through Zoom. We are live streaming, and Ms. Taylor is making our record this morning. Okay, we'll go ahead and take announcements.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. Bryza Salinas is my permanency specialist. We're present ready.
Stacy Grant, attorney for Emily Domini. My client is present with the father in this hearing, Your Honor.
Jerry Morales, respondent father, Your Honor. My client is incarcerated at the Potter County Jail. I'm ready.
Jeff Hill on behalf of Cody Lundgren. I believe he's present with Miss Domini. Ready, Judge.
And Your Honor, I think Mr. Morales is a case early. I think he's on the high tower to case us next.
I was going to say, I'm not finding you in this case, Jerry.
Oh, sorry.
No problem. I'm just going to, I'll just, if you want to just turn your camera off, that's fine. Just stay where you're.
Okay, Judge, thank you.
All right.
Stacy Zabala on behalf of Jordan.
All right. And Mr. Hill, just to confirm, that is your client that's present with the mother on camera. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then. Ms. Salinas, we'll get an update from you.
Yes, ma'am. Jordan seems to be doing well in placement. She was recently diagnosed with, I'm going to try to say these, atrial septal defects for her heart and also pulmonary stenosis. She does have an appointment on May 29th, to see the cardiologist to get that checked up. It's just kind of a monitored situation. As she grows, it should close back up. It should all connect and stuff. And she was recently quarantined for the measles. She was near somebody who had a measles outbreak. So she was quarantined. And due to her quarantine, parents have gotten virtual visits with her only, just because she was not allowed to go around anybody. So those should continue this week or next week. Parents are doing good. Parents have all the service authorizations have been sent out for those. And so now it's just scheduling those. They have an appointment with their counseling the 17th. Sorry, they're going out the 17th. And they did start Catholic Charities for parenting. But all the other services, they are just awaiting scheduling now.
And Ms. Salinas, the family plans were signed by both parents?
Yes, sir.
And those were filed, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, and just to back up a second, child has not broken with measles.
No, she was just around somebody.
Okay.
So her placement where she's at, there's another child there, and she was at a school, and the teacher had a measles outbreak of the older child that is in the home of Jordan.
Okay.
She goes to her doctor tomorrow to just have that follow-up. She has not had outbreak, no fevers, no nothing. So tomorrow they're just going to confirm, do some more tests, and just to confirm that she's, able to start visitation again before we start those up again.
She's obviously too young for vaccination on it. So
Yes.
yeah. Okay. All right. We'll hope that remains the case. So, okay. Anything further to update us on? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's okay. No, like I said, they've been really working at getting those scheduled. Dad is interviewing at jobs. He goes to, I forget what HireQuest is, where you could go daily for work and they pay you daily. So he's been attending those and trying to get work that way as well.
Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. Ms. Grant, any questions for Ms. Salinas or anything to talk about today?
No, nothing to add to that, Your Honor. Just looking forward to getting started on the services. And I believe she has a copy of the plan and is ready to get going.
Okay. All right. Mr. Hill?
Nothing to report, Judge. Yeah, I just want to get their services done and get their child back.
Okay. All right. And Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, it appears that Jordan's doing very well. We get good updates. This is a placement that we have worked with before. I would ask Ms. Salinas, though, just in the last few days when we've been trying to reach out, there's a lot going on, I think, with the measles and the health stuff. But our calls have been going straight to voicemail. So if you could just pass along the placement that we do need to speak with them. But I do not have any concerns about this placement, and I'm getting regular information just until recently.
Yeah, I'll do that, Stacy.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I do recommend that this placement continue.
All right. Let me just talk with parents for a minute. This is our status hearing, and one of the things that the law requires me to do at the status hearing is to make sure that you all understand how important these service plans are. So they're the key to your success in this case. Not everything is about those service plans, but a lot of it is. And, there's a reason for each of those things that you all have on that list to do. So failure to work through that service plan and complete those things successfully could result in the child not coming back home to one or both of you. And of course, worst case, it can mean termination of your parental rights. So I know you all don't want that, and none of us do. So just stay on track, work your way through these things. If you're having a rough patch, reach out to your attorneys, reach out to Ms. Salinas. You'll each have counselors, reach out to those people. Take advantage of the resources that are available to you right now. And, everybody here is everybody's goal is to help you all, and the goal is to reunify you as a family. So, we're not the enemy. Truly, we're not. We're all here to help. So if you're having difficulty, just speak out and let someone know. Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
you both understand what I've told you and the consequences of not working those service plans.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. And I'm not saying that to be a Debbie Downer, okay? It's just I'm required to make sure you all understand that. All right? So,
Yes, ma'am.
it's just like drug testing. Failure to show up, it gets deemed as a positive result. So if you've got a scheduling conflict, if Mr. Lundgren, you get a job and you absolutely cannot go that day because of work, if it's going to put your job in jeopardy, talk to Ms. Salinas about it. We will work with you all if you're working with us. Okay.
Ma'am.
All right, then, for today, I'm going to continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I'm going to continue the child's current placement. I'm going to find that there would be a continuing danger to return the child home at this time, and that the department is going to use reasonable efforts to reunify the family. I'm going to order the service plans as an order of the court. So that's just what we've kind of been talking about, but they are going to actually be in a court order now. So it's like any court order. I expect you to abide by that and comply with it. I'm going to see you back for our initial permanency hearing. That will be on August 12th of 2025. It'll be on a 9 o'clock docket, just like today. I start my docket at 9. Your case will be somewhere on that morning docket. I can't tell you the exact time right now, but that docket will go out about a week in advance. So your attorneys will know and your caseworker will know. All right, then. I wish you both the best of luck with your services. Get going on them, and I'll see you back. We'll check in and see how everything's going in August, okay? All right. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you,
Thank you,
Roger.
Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
In the interest of Ember Hightower, we are here today set for the initial permanency hearing.
Good morning. So Ember is placed with her sister in a foster home. Her sister is currently pending results for measles, for a possible outbreak. Ember is delayed and is participating in ACI services. She does tend to have tantrums when it comes to bath time or putting on lotion, related to the possible abuse that she had received.
I'm going to object to speculation on that.
All right, it's sustained.
Mom has signed her family plan of service. She is called to start setting up services with the psychosexual education class, the psychological, counseling, and rational behavior therapy. The father on this case, we have filed aggravated circumstances on, and a family plan was not filed for him.
Okay, his mother signed her plan.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor. Those were signed on the 3rd and filed on April 4th.
Okay. All right. Okay, Mr. Gilliard is in Potter County Jail on what charges at this time?
Possession of child pornography under the age of 10, failure to comply with registering as a sex offender, I believe a charge on bestiality, and let me make sure I'm telling you all of the
There's
charges.
also a motion to revoke on a failed to register, Your Honor. Sorry, Mickey, for cutting you off there.
No, it's okay. I was trying to make sure I got all the charges correct.
Okay. All right. Anything else to catch us up on today?
Ms. Lane.
No, ma'am. That's
Okay.
everything I have at the moment.
Okay. All right then, Ms. Lucero.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Lane, the services are set out in Alyssa's service plan. Were you aware that she has already completed the the psychosexual and psychosocial?
No, I haven't got a completion on that yet.
Okay, and would you receive that from Steve Jennings' office?
I'm sorry?
Once she's advised me that she's completed those, so you'll receive confirmation from Steve Jennings' office?
Yes, if she has.
Okay, all right then. And right now, she's visiting with the girls an hour virtually every week from 3 to 4. Well, she'll start 3 to 4 today. Is that correct?
She's had one other visit already, but yes, that's her visits are.
Okay, and also I know she's supposed to do a psychological through Stonebridge. I believe she was waiting on, I guess, payment to be sent over, or I guess approval from your supervisor. Has that occurred, or do you know?
It has not occurred yet, but payment is pending for that session, and it is scheduled.
Okay. Do you know when it's scheduled for?
Not off the top of my head,
Okay,
but
you're fine.
Okay.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Morales?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Zavala?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
All right, do you have a recommendation today?
Yes, Your Honor. Ember is placed with her sister and is doing very well in a foster home in Lubbock. And I do recommend that continue.
Okay. All right, Ms. Hightower, let me talk with you. I just want to reinforce about your service plan. So it's very important that you work these services. And I'm not suggesting that you aren't. It's just, we're very early on in the case. And so it's really important that you understand failure to work those services could result in the child not coming home, could result in termination of your parental rights. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So just, work your way through those. If you're having a hard time, reach out to somebody, talk with any of these folks involved. They're here to help you.
Yes, ma'am.
And to help get you through this successfully. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Your Honor, could I just call her for or I can give an update from to the court about all the services that she's already completed and she has already set up?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. So I call Alyssa Hightower, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Hightower, raise your right hand for me. You promise to tell the truth today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Very good.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, Alyssa, I'm looking at your service plan, and part of your service plan is you're supposed to complete rational behavior training. Have you done that, or do you have that set up?
I have that set up. Troy Timmons does it, I believe, once a month. So I had to wait until his next opening. And I believe it's set up for this Wednesday.
Okay. All right. And as far as your parenting classes, have you started those?
Yes, I started them last week on Tuesday, and I plan to continue them every Tuesday.
Okay. Do you know how many classes are required? Have you been advised of that or no?
No, ma'am. I was just going to continue until even when I was told I've done enough, I was probably just going to continue because it can't hurt to have more.
Okay. And you were also, part of your service plan is a psychosexual assessment. Have you completed that?
Yes, ma'am. I completed that with Steve Jennings.
Okay. And then you heard me ask Miss Lane about the psychological, and you're just waiting on confirmation from the department. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I was supposed to have done that yesterday, but because I hadn't had the payment yet, we rescheduled for, I believe, sometime next week.
Okay. And what about the psychosocial?
Psychosocial, I did at the same time as my psychosexual with Steve Jennings.
Okay. And then also you part of your service plan is a domestic violence support group. What's the status on that?
I have that scheduled today. It's an in-person class, and I'll be doing that from 4 to 5 today. I mean, sorry. Yes, it is. It's 5 to 6. I apologize. 5 to 6 today.
And again, you've got visits set up with the girls. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. From 3 to 4 every Tuesday.
Okay. All right then. And thank you. I just wanted to make sure the court was aware that you had started services and what you have already completed. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have any questions they want to ask Ms. Hightower?
Just a couple of questions, Your Honor.
Sure.
Ms. Hightower, you said you had completed an assessment with Jennings already?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Did they give you a list of recommendations, or are you still waiting on that?
What do you mean by a list of
Did
recommendations?
they recommend any other counseling or sessions or anything else from that?
No, but I do know on part of my service plan, it has me doing a psychosexual education class with Steve Jennings. And I did bring that up and he mentioned that usually that's done through Troy Timmons, but I said my work services say it's to be done through him. So as far as I know, the only thing I have right now is that education class.
Okay. But you don't know when that's gonna start?
No, not yet. I do not.
Okay. And since our last hearing, you were arrested on some charges also, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You've been assigned an attorney on that case?
I have not, no.
Okay. All right. And you were arrested on 4 counts?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Due to the nature.
Very, very, very limited. The most that happens is he will attempt to call me and basically try to update me on how he's doing in there, but it's again very limited.
Your Honor, I'd ask to put Ms. Hightower under oath.
He is.
Yes.
Ms. Hightower, if I were to tell you I have access to jail calls and messages,
Okay.
would you rephrase your answer on how limited that contact is?
It's, sorry, I'm trying to find a way to word this. We probably talk more than we should.
Would you say daily?
Just about. And I have been trying to, it was a lot more at the beginning, and I have been trying to cut back the calls as much as I can as this goes on.
Okay. So your statement a while ago about very limited was completely false.
I apologize, yes.
Okay. So since we've been in this case, it's been daily contact.
Just about, yes, sir.
Do you understand, and we can't tell you who you can and can't talk to, but you understand where that's a problem in this case?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions for Ms. Hightower?
No, Your Honor.
All right, quick question. What counts was she arrested on, Mr. Trout?
She has 4 counts of bestiality, Your Honor.
Okay, so Ms. Hightower, you're out on bond, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, Ms. Hightower, let me just tell you something right now. We're early in this game, but when I put you under oath and you swear and promise and take that oath to tell me the truth, you better be sure you tell me the truth from now on.
Yes, ma'am. I apologize.
I mean, you got to understand you're under a microscope and you've got criminal cases pending. And, you know, it does you no good to get caught lying to the court.
Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, you really need to do some big, deep soul searching about what direction you want your life to go from here on out.
Yes, ma'am.
Because from where I sit, you are very much at a crossroads. The rest of your life is in the balance on what you do. Not only in this case, but obviously in those other cases. But the only thing I have any control over is this case. And
Yes.
I'm just telling you, you know, you better decide what's more important in your life, this child or this man.
Yeah.
So it's a little like being an alcoholic. You know, at some point you have to just say, I'm not going to take another drink. You got to stop drinking the Kool-Aid. You know, rip the Band-Aid off, however you want to phrase it. But, you know, continuing your contact with him is not going to do you a bit of good. So it's time to look after yourself, put your interests first, because right now you don't have the child. So you better be looking out for your best interest. And when you manage to do that, then maybe you can start looking at what's in the best interest of the child.
Yes, ma'am.
But right now you have the luxury of not, you know, having the child with you or not having to care for the child, you know, not having to do that on a day-to-day basis. So you've got time right now to zero in on yourself, and I suggest you use it wisely.
Yes, ma'am, of course. Thank you.
All right, then I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I'm going to continue the child's current placement. I find a continuing danger to return the child home at this time. Obviously, the department will use reasonable efforts with the mother under the service plans to try to reunify them. I'm going to order those, you know, those services. I'm looking back. Did we do a status hearing order on her?
Not on this case, Your Honor.
Yeah.
When we filed for the aggravated, we said
Right.
the permanency.
Okay. I want it to be clear and a part of this order, though, that I'm ordering her services as an order of the court, since she is actively working a service plan.
And Your Honor,
Go ahead, Ms. Lucero.
I apologize, Your Honor. I just wanted to make sure that I had it in my notes and I forgot to mention it. Miss Hightower had given a name of some folks to possible placement for the children for a home study, and I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page with the department or St. Francis, that they're doing a home study on those individuals.
Ms. Lane?
I reached out to Tanya May. She was going to get with her husband and talk about possibly doing looking into long-term if they would be okay with that. And she just got back to me this morning stating they would be, and I told her I would get it started.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you.
In Your Honor, just for the court, on this order that was drafted, what normally goes into a status order as far as the services was put into this current order. So we did accommodate on that.
Okay. All right. Very good. I just wanted to make sure those I's were dotted and T's were crossed.
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor,
Okay.
all in favor of any home studies? I would just ask that the girls not be moved until there's an agreement or a court order.
Right. I'm good with that. All right. So I will make that a part of this order. No change in child's placement. Unless an agreement or order. Okay, then I'm going to see everybody back June 24th of 2025. That's when we've set the final in this case. So you have lots to do, Ms. Hightower, before that time. Okay, I'll see everybody back in June.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the interest of Carista Ross, we're here for a review hearing.
Currently, I do not have any major updates on the case. I know that Carista is starting to crawl and she is very happy in placement. She does not like baby food, but she does like table foods. She is starting to get 5 teeth, so she is starting to teeth. For Miss Ross, I attempted to contact her this morning and I was not able to reach her, and there was no way for me to leave a voicemail. That's really about all the updates that I have right now.
Ms. Hoganson, as far as when Ms. Doucette was on the case, do you know when last contact with mom was?
I do not know the exact date. Um,
Had Ms. Doucette also lost contact with mom?
correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. But you're not exactly sure when that took place.
No, sir.
Was mom doing any of her services at the time? Was she working with you?
No, sir.
And I'm assuming since you haven't got a hold of mom, you don't know any new information on a possible father.
No, sir.
Okay. And there were no notes from Miss Doucette as far as contact or information from mom regarding the father.
No, sir.
Are you asking anything of the court? Do we need drug screens from mom if we can find her?
If we can find her, yes, sir.
According to the court report, the last drug screen mom was tried to send mom to was in February, and she did not complete that. Weren't able to find her to try to send her in March.
Correct.
Okay. So just if you can find her drug screens to be ordered, we need a hair follicle and a UA.
Yes, sir.
I believe that's our only request today, Your Honor. I believe we're getting set for a final in July. So I think drug screens today if we can find mom.
All right. Mr. Hammonds, anything today?
Judge, nothing. From the very beginning of this case, Erica was kind of jumping from hotel to hotel. I mean, but she had a cell phone that I could at least get a hold of her, but it looks like really starting back December, January, she's kind of dropped off the grid. And I don't know that anybody's had any face-to-face with her since about that time. I mean, nothing else, Judge.
Okay. All right. Ms. Archer?
I have nothing to report, Judge, since I don't have any leads.
Okay. Ms. Zavala?
Your Honor, Carista is doing great. She's with a wonderful family. I've got no concerns about where she is. I do want one issue. I know Avery is just taking over. If I am correct, Carista was not born in the hospital. Is that right?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so one problem I foresee in the future is difficulty in getting that birth certificate in terms of if we get to adoption on this case. Do you know if anything has been started to try to start that process?
I believe that we have started the process, but my supervisor and I are waiting for a response from the state office, I believe.
I know that process takes a long time. I believe that if mom comes back into the picture at any point, she may be able to help us with that process. So I just wanted on everybody's radar screen that if mom resurfaces, that is an issue we need to try to address with her.
Can I add something? Prior to Ms. Doucette leaving, she did submit all the paperwork for a delayed birth certificate with the state. We did follow up last week prior to her leaving as well. So we're just waiting on a response from them. And then once we have that, we'll get with our SSI coordinator so we can get the Social Security card.
Wonderful. I just know that process takes a long time.
Yes, ma'am, it does. Thank you.
And that's all that I have, Your Honor.
All right.
And Judge, I would just let the court know mom had a charge, misdemeanor charge that she was on probation for. There has been a motion to revoke filed. There's a warrant out. She has not been picked up on that warrant yet.
Okay. Which may be why she's laying low, but guess we never know. All right, then, I'm gonna order mom to drug test here in UA if we can locate her to do so. I'll continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue the child's current placement. Find a continuing danger to return the child to the mother at this time. Obviously, can't return the child to an unknown father. And that mother's not in compliance with the service plan. And I'll see everybody back for the final on July 8th, 2025. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. All right. Thank you all very much.